welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host, Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, here to give you another movie review. This time around, we're going to be talking about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, the second Black Panther film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so, yes, this review is coming a little over a week prior to the release of the film. I did watch the film on release day. I was on holiday, but I got to rewatch it just recently, or this morning, as far as this recording is concerned. So I have watched the film twice, and I think watching it a second time, because I enjoyed the film. I'll start by saying that I enjoyed the film, but I was also on holiday, so there was a bunch of things happening. So I didn't feel comfortable giving my full thoughts on the film when just so much was happening on the weekend of that. And I kind of wanted to rewatch Black Panther Wakanda Forever a second time. And yeah. So I'm going to start off with one first thing for anyone who wonders and who hasn't watched the film yet and is just here for my non-spoiler review. There is a mid-credit scene, no end credit scene. Just a reminder for that, because it's always a question I have when it comes to these Marvel films. So yeah, once the mid-credit scene after the first round of credits are over, there is nothing else afterwards. So you are welcome to leave after that. But yeah, so going into this review, I'm gonna go spoiler-free. If there's enough like feedbacks or comments on this and you want my full thoughts on the film with spoilers, I can do that. And actually I might want to with a few other members of like my movie kind of podcasting group and discuss this a little bit short, because as far as I've been looking at this is the final film in phase 4. And so this is kind of the closing into moving into the next phase. And just as a film, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is such a first. I think it's one of the top 5 longest runtimes for the films, and it's a lot of story because they have to fill in a lot because of sadly the passing of Chadwick Boseman. They had to. That's one of the things I was worried about in this film, and I think they did a wonderful job of how they handled the situation and how they handled T'Challa in this film. I'm going to start by saying that it was wonderful. Watching it a second time still gave me tears. It's very moving. I will say they did a wonderful job paying respects to Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa, and that was one of the things I was worried going into this film, and I think they did a wonderful job at that. Continuing on, the story for the most part is, like I said, it's a very long film. It's almost 3 hours long. It's getting close to endgame times. Yeah, it's a long film because yes, they had to do a lot because they are introducing. I don't know. It's not anything that's in trailers. Not spoilers. They are introducing Namor. They are there. So there's like handling a funeral. There's handling introduction of a new character. Handling the rule of Wakanda. They're handling so much, and then there's like government stuff from what you can tell in the trailers. After the vibranium, there's so much happening, and the way the story is laid out, I think that there's very few moments in this film where it's not always on the move, but it gives you moments to breathe. It has some levity, some laughs, and it works really well. The cast did a really good job. That you bring back. I'm trying to remember their names. I always forget some of their names off the top of my head. I think hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. Latia Wright, the one who plays Shuri, she's back. Then what was her name? I'm trying to remember everyone because there's so many people in this thing. Where's cast? I'm just gonna go to cast. Dania Okorira. I think that's the one who plays Okoye. And I can't forget about Winston Duke, the guy who plays M'Baku. I think he's the real like comedy relief guy in here. I loved him. And yeah, like it's not a spoiler to say that we do get like I said, there's like a lot of introductions. You get Riri Williams, played by Dominique Thorne, I believe that's her name. And yeah, and like I said, and then the introduction of Namor with Jose Tenoch Maya, I think that's his name. Maya, I think that's the name. I'll get used to the names when I start listening to more interviews and I still start seeing more of them. But yeah, it's casting, acting does a good job. Story flowed reasonably well. There's very few times it hiccuped. There was a time where you had to follow like multiple plots. There's one subplot which I see what they were trying to do, but it wasn't negative. I think it just adds to the runtime. But besides that, everything else worked really well. Like I said, the plot was not what I thought from the. If you watch my reaction that I do on YouTube or on TikTok, I usually from trailer reactions. You can kind of see I tried to speculate, and it was not even close to what I thought was going to happen, and I like that. We all kind of guessed. Like it's not a spoiler really to say that Shuri does become the Black Panther. It's kind of there, but it's the process. I think it works really well. From the beginning to her getting the mantle, I think that's what this film does a really good job on it. I know a lot of people aren't pleased about it, but you know what? I think it works really well, and it's understandable of what they were trying to do. Some of the CG gets iffy at the end. There's not a lot of CGI in this, but towards the end it gets a little bit off. But I think after they build up some of the assets and stuff like that, I think it'll look better. But you can kind of tell it's like okay. So, but yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Score, music, beautiful, wonderful, perfect, almost. Like every time there's every audio cue, beautiful. I loved it. It hit every time. Even the moments when there was no audio, it hits. There are moments when there's silence and it hits. Like it was perfect. What else was there? I'm trying to think now. Story good, casting, acting reasonable. Most of the dialogue was good. Nothing really felt off. Comedy was in there. Nothing felt too sour. I don't remember ever feeling like that's cringy or anything. It's like for the most part the comedy was right where it needed to be, enough. It wasn't like a true comedy, like kind of like Thor Ragnarok or Thor Love and Thunder. Just a reasonable amount. They didn't really do too many, tug at the heartstrings, if anyone's wondering about that. They did pay respects and they did it right, and it didn't really like either hinder or force you to feel things. It's like it was genuine. If you kind of felt it, that's what I took away from it, in my opinion. And yeah, I just it was a trip, honestly. Yeah, like I at this point I spent 5 hours because I've seen it 2 times, and thinking about it and everything, it was interesting. This film in its like own little bubble does well. It doesn't force people to really need to know or try to introduce other things. It's just doing its own thing. They make references to other things, using jokes and stuff, talking about some tech, but never really bringing outside forces into this. And I think that worked well. Just keeping it with Wakanda and its people and some of the people that they talk to. So think more of Black Panther 1 and things like that. Some interesting surprises that caught me off guard. There was a couple things I was hoping were going to happen, and something that I hoped didn't happen, that didn't happen, which I was happy about, and things that overall was like, wow. And the only thing I will say somewhat spoilery is this film, like for me, kind of really, like, as a fan, hit that Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa has passed, and I think they did a good job using Shuri as a catalyst for that, as like we the audience have lost a truly defining character. That's truly my opinion for that. That's really my final thoughts on that. Besides that, Namor was fantastic. How they handled his feathered feet. You would think it's cheesy, but they did a good job with that. Some of the action sequences. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't talk about the action sequences. Really good action sequences. Damn, their stunt coordinator did fantastic. So many good action sequences. So many wonderful shots of cities and stuff like that. That's more in the spoiler territory, but yeah, some wonderful city shots and things like that. Yeah, so cinematography really good. Sometimes some of the things that are seen underwater were kind of funky. I know they try to do this weird filter where you kind of are underwater. Sometimes I don't know. It can be there. I can see where some people enjoy that, or just like to have a crystal clear, like you're in crystal clear water and kind of can see. But they some people use the weird foggy film to make it seem more like underwater. I don't know. There's a lot of underwater scenes, so it can get a little, for me, since for my eyesight, it kind of was bugging me a little bit. But that's just my own problem. So I'm not really taking that away from the film. Besides that, yeah, wonderful film. It's long. There's a lot to take in, and I'm not trying to, for my rating, I'm not trying to think of anything, just using it for just emotional state or just everything. It's a movie, and I will criticize it as a film in itself, from beginning to end, and what they were trying to do. From what I could tell, they were trying to do, I think they did a really wonderful job. Very few times did I feel it was off. Like I said, some of the CGI was kind of funky at the end. Most of the dialogue was really good. I'm gonna give this one a. Like I said, there was this weird subplot that kind of just was a little iffy, and I saw it. I'm gonna give this one. It's between an 8 and a 9. It's a wonderful film. Trying to think. What are some of the positives that outweigh some of the negatives, and how they handled some of the story. For now, spoiler free, I might need to discuss this with the rest of my podcasting group. for now, what I'm feeling now, I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10. It's a great film. It's a great film. There's a lot to it. It's pretty long. So CGI is kind of funky at the end. And there's a lot. But, like, when you're in it, and it's wonderful. And I think that's what I think. Once I bounce some thoughts off some people, sometimes I can either like knock it down or knock it up. But at the moment, what I'm feeling now is an 8 out of 10. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Like, how did you feel coming out of the film? Were they what you were expecting? Was that like, yeah, let me think. What was your thoughts at the final film in phase 4? So yeah, thanks again for listening. Until next time, see ya.